Oh, I'm nervous. My heart's beating out of my body.
Oh, you're wearing a Trenton shirt.
Yeah, represent.
Oh, little free advertising.
Represent.
I should charge you for that exposure.
I should charge you for this show.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Silence.
Don't f this up, Danielle.
You don't f this up.
Welcome in episode 23 of What's Right with Nick Wright, the podcast and YouTube show. Like, rate, subscribe, review. We're so close to 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. I don't know how many subscribers we have on iTunes and Spotify, but I'd appreciate if you subscribe on all the platforms that you consume the show. However, today's show is going to be a little different. Today's show, and it's a tragic day for this to be the case. Demonze, who is the only Celtics fan I like, is not here today. I mean, he is here. I don't know if we can take the wide shot briefly and show you. He can lean into the shot for a moment. Demonze, go ahead and lean in. Wave hello. Demonze, unfortunately, is sick. He has lost his voice. Now, how did he lose his voice? We're not sure. I would imagine a 5-hour session at a hookah bar on Friday didn't help. Now, he would claim that didn't actually happen, but I would assume all I know is I left town Friday. He had a voice. I came back town Saturday. He didn't have a voice anymore, but he will be back hopefully soon. In his place is none other than my wonderful wife, who you will hear from in just a moment. Danielle, thank you for taking the time with us today. Try not to screw this up. But as we always do on the show, we first talk about what we're not talking about. So here is what is not on today's show. What is not on today's show is Zion getting cleared for contact. Bill Belichick has same intensity as any year. And Aaron Donald signing with Kanye West's agency, Donda Sports. None of that is on the show today because we have too many basketball-related things and one, believe it or not, baseball-related thing to discuss. So now I turn to you, Danielle. What are we starting with today?
The Celtics beat Miami.
Yeah, I know.
So you're sad.
I am a little sad about it, yeah.
Why did Boston win Game 7?
All right, so Boston should have been able to take care of this in 6. Miami looked like they were broken and beaten since we've last talked. But Jimmy Butler had an all-time Game 6 in Boston to carry Miami, right? You all know that. And then Game 7 comes around, and Kyle Lowry's not very good. Tyler Hero tries to play but is awful. Gabe Vincent doesn't do much aside from one shot. Max Strus doesn't do much, which is why Boston led wire to wire. However, there are two parts of this game I want to discuss, and none of it's to take away from Boston. One is the NBA all of a sudden allowing for, I know that they can retroactively go back and change a 3 to a 2 or a 2 to a 3. The ref can, when the shot's taken, wave his finger like we're going to review that. That's one thing. But what they did with Miami, with Max Strus, his 3, 5 possessions later being waved off because they said he stepped out of bounds. And then on replay, it wasn't even clear he stepped out of bounds. Looked like he Sean Ellioted it to me, which if you're watching the Western Conference Finals damn near 30 years ago, Sean Elliott in the corner, I think they were playing the Suns, I'm not certain, got a 3. His heels were over the line, but he kept his heels up in the air and he nailed it. That to me, not only am I not sure it was the right call, but I don't think you can minutes later take 3 points off the board. However, that's not why Miami lost, even though it did come down to a possession. Miami lost because they weren't good enough. But despite not being good enough, Boston's up 13 with 3.5 minutes left and then does every single thing they can do to lose that game. And if they had lost that game, Jimmy takes the 3 after they get another miss to take the lead with 18 seconds left. It would have been, without a doubt, the biggest choke job in NBA history. 13-point lead in a Game 7 against a team that is dying. A team that has one guy you're afraid of, to go to the finals that would have been an unspeakable loss. However, they were able to get through it. Now, that did make me a little concerned with them for the finals because they have played so well for the last 5 months now, but close games, they have seemed to fall apart a bit at the end. So that concerns me. The Warriors' experience concerns me. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But overall, why did Boston win? Boston won because they had 5 guys who on any given night could make winning plays for you. In Tatum, Brown, Smart, Horford, and Grant Williams, even though he wasn't very good in this series. So call it 4 guys. The Heat had 1.5. They had Jimmy Butler and then Bam Adebayo a couple games. So I picked the Heat in 7. I ended up being wrong. And I'm not going to get into it right here. We did it on the television show. By the time you guys are hearing this on Tuesday, it will have been discussed. I want to make this very clear, though. Anyone arguing that Jimmy Butler should have gone for 2 instead of 3 flatly doesn't understand the math. It is not a discussion. It is not reasonable people can disagree. It is simply basic level math on why the 3 is so much. You know what? I will get into it here. Just real quick. Just real quick. Sorry. Let's just say you believe Jimmy Butler had an 80% chance of making a short jump shot or a layup on Horford. And 80% is way higher than he actually had. Even if he had an 80% chance of tying the game there, the 3 is still the better shot. Here's why. So he has an 80% chance to tie. It then, and again, it's not 80, but call it 80. You then have to stop Boston. And because it's tied, they're holding for the last shot. So you say you have a 50-50 shot. So now your 80% chance of winning is down to 40%. And just by stopping them, you then have to win in overtime, which again would not have been a 50-50 shot because Butler had played all 48 minutes. The Heat were not the better team. They hadn't led the whole time. But give that a 50-50 shot. So 80%, 50%, 50%. Going for 2, your best case scenario, is a 20% chance to win the game. That's your best case scenario. You go for 3 and you make it. Even if Boston goes down and scores, you still have a chance because Boston has to go quick. So it's not even a discussion. Jimmy made the right play. I didn't understand the Strus call, and Boston almost had an epic choke job. I hope that answers your question. All right, Danielle, what's next?
Your 2 faves are in the finals, the Warriors and the Celtics.
I can't believe this is my life.
Who you got?
Warriors-Celtics finals. Who do I have in the finals?
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to win. I can tell you who's going to lose, Danielle.
Who?
Me.
Yeah.
No matter what, no matter who wins, I am so, pardon me here.
Yeah. You know why you're
Why?
Because your mouth.
What do you mean?
You just talk too much, too fast.
It's literally my job.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know.
Okay. Well, here's the problem. If the Celtics win, I have takes from the past that are not going to have aged well, ladies and gentlemen. I called Jaylen Brown a homeless man's Kawhi Leonard. I called Jason Tatum the 4th best guy in his own draft class. I mocked Danny Ainge forever. So if the Celtics win, I look like an idiot. If the Warriors win, I guaranteed Steph would never make another finals after they traded for Wiggins. I called Wiggins a bad player.
Mm-hmm. Your mouth.
I'm boxed in.
Talk too much.
I am boxed in here. I don't know what I think the Warriors are going to win. My pick is the Warriors.
I want the Warriors to win.
Why?
I like the Warriors.
Why?
I've always liked the Warriors.
Why?
Because it's a Cali team.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I like Steph. I like Draymond. I like Clay.
Okay.
Like, come on now. That's a great team.
Okay. Well, listen, I feel badly that DeMonte's not here today because the Celtics are his squad. He wanted to take a victory lap today. He's not well. Hopefully on Wednesday, he can take his victory lap before the finals because I do think the Warriors are going to win the finals. I do think they're going to win game 1. What I also know is this. Boston Celtics fans are blue-collar, hard-scrabble New Englanders. Warriors fans are not the old-school Oakland fans, but the new Warriors fans are frou-frou, tech, West Coast, millionaire, billionaire types. You know the only common ground they have?
What?
Hating me.
Oh.
That's the only thing Warriors and Celtics fans have in common. They're like, hey, the dude on FS1 in the mornings, he's a jackass, isn't he? Like, yeah, we agree on that. Sucks. But
I understand.
What'd you say?
I understand.
Okay. But I've got the Warriors. I don't think these games will be blowouts. And I think the late game execution favors the Warriors greatly. And it should be noted that the Warriors with a healthy Steph, Clay, and Draymond are 21-1 under Steve Kerr in playoff series. Do you know the only time they lost? Who beat them? Come on. You know the only.
No, I don't know.
You do know.
No, I don't.
Come on.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Oh. The only one to ever beat him was LeBron the Great.
Come on, James.
Okay. All right. What's next?
Your Mavs lost.
Mm-hmm.
You still put Luka in 20th in your top 50.
Yeah, people didn't like that.
Defend yourself. Explain how Dallas gets to the next level.
All right, let me defend the Luka defense. If people want to know why I had him in the top 20, watch the Luka video. I went on YouTube, by the way, and checked the views on the individual player videos, not the full episodes, on because our great social team cuts each individual player video. People aren't watching them. Guys, go watch the Luka video. It'll be posted by the time this is up, and you'll see my defense for it. There's the precedent with Shaq being on the top 50. I had Luka slotted in at 20 before this playoff run. This playoff run only even validated it further. Now, what do the Mavs need to do this summer? Because Jason Kidd talked about wanting to get them a secondary option, what they need to do with it. I love this flirtation with Zach LaVine. I love the idea of that. A Zach LaVine, Jalen Brunson sign and trade, maybe. I like the idea of it. I would not be willing to pay Jalen Brunson $30 million a year. Now, DeMonze, to his credit, brought up the Rudy Gobert idea. I don't like the idea of Rudy Gobert. However, he does solve a lot of the Mavs' problems. And I think Luka would get the most out of him offensively if you can get anything out of him. But the idea of making Jalen Brunson Luka's co-star for the time moving forward, it's just that I don't think he's good enough. And I do think the Mavs need to learn from the mistakes of other teams that have these transcendent players and try to microwave it. The Hornets screwed it up, or the Pelicans screwed it up with Anthony Davis. The Cavs screwed it up with LeBron. The Bucks did not screw it up with Giannis. This is the type of player you have. Don't be overzealous and be like, we've got to re-sign Jalen if that's going to lock you into this team. Also, producers, putting on the screen Luka, the next Jokic, give me a break. Give me a break. As I understand Jokic has also been to a conference finals. I get it. But nobody in their right mind. Yeah, great job. Yeah, see? The other producers fled the building because they saw what a bad take that was. Luka is the next Jokic. All right. What's the last topic?
The Lakers hired Darvin Ham.
Almost. Fourth time's a charm. Darvin Ham.
Darvin Ham. My bad.
That's all right.
Do you like that hire?
I do like the hire. I do like Darvin Ham, not only because he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when I was a kid, shattering a backboard, but Ime Udoka, Monty Williams, Willie Green, Ty Lue, Steve Kerr. What do they all have in common? They're all incredibly successful head coaches, some very young, very limited experience, but were former players and instantly had success. So I like that. I also like the fact Mark Stein is reporting that the Lakers are going to let Ham pick his own staff, something they were hesitant to do with other coaches in the past, and that Kurt Rambis is not going to be sitting in coaching meetings giving his 2 cents. However, all of that is nice. None of it really matters for the Lakers if they don't find a trade partner for Westbrook. I know you were excited about Russ going to the Lakers. It was a total disaster. It couldn't have gone any worse. And so I like the Ham hire. However, that is 25% of the job this summer. 55% of the job this summer is finding a trade partner for Westbrook. The other 30% is finding some athletic wings. It's a hell of a job Rob Pelinka's got in front of him. Luckily, he's about the worst guy for it. I can't believe they kept Pelinka. All right, we'll be right back.
How come I couldn't get that name right?
I don't know. You crushed it, though.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
Oh, thanks.
DeMonze better watch his back. Oh, what?
Where'd they get that face from?
I don't know. My arms look good in that picture.
Well, they don't now.
What the I'm sorry that my regular workout time has turned into drive Danielle to work, open the store.
I'm sorry. No, you were doing that before and still working out. No, you have excuses. You've gotten lazy. You rather play freaking Fortnite.
Fortnite is new. Fortnite's just the last.
I don't care. You always figure out something else to do than work out.
When are you working out? I don't see you working out.
I work out while I'm at work. Man, do I need to stand up? I am hot sauce.
All right, you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, you silence your phone because that's important.
I wanted to make sure that it's silent for me.
Go ahead. You need me to do it? Silent?
Well, yeah.
No,
leave me alone.
Okay. You see how quick you put your fist up? All right, welcome back in. What's right, Nick Wright? Danielle Wright in for Demonze today. Demonze, unfortunately, has laryngitis, otherwise known as spent all night at the hookah bar. He's mad at me for saying that. He's walking around right now, angry, can't take a Celtics victory lap. He was so excited for today's show. But hey, listen, we all have to learn things. In Demonze's defense, I don't actually know he was at the hookah bar because whatever happened to him Friday. And Friday, I was out with this one in Philadelphia gambling all night. So I can't really talk trash myself. You ready to go? All right. We've got a serious topic to start this segment. Danielle, what are we discussing?
Giants manager Gabe Kapler said he won't come out for the anthem due to the U.S. gun violence. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I obviously respect and support Gabe Kapler's protest here. We spent a lot of time on the show last week talking about my thoughts on, guns in this country and what the unspeakable tragedy that happened in Uvalde after the unspeakable tragedy that happened in Buffalo. So I don't want to actually discuss that part of it. If you want to see or hear what I said about that, go to Thursday's episode from last week, episode 22. What I do want to talk about is how unbelievable it is to me at how just fine so much of the media, sports and otherwise, how fine they are with being total abject hypocrites in how they're reacting to this versus how they reacted to a different prominent San Francisco sports figure that took a stand during the national anthem because of an issue with the United States. You could not have scripted a more one-to-one example. So you have Colin Kaepernick 6 years ago saying, because of police violence in this country, I am going to kneel during the anthem. And the entire sports world and news world and political world lost its shit. And for years, it was a topic. You had presidential candidates mentioning it. It was on, it crossed over from sports to news. It was legitimately a lead story for months and months and months. Multiple years it was a discussion. Okay? In the 2020 election, it got brought up by politicians and on political news. Gabe Kapler does an almost identical thing. Instead of taking a knee, he's simply saying he's not even going to come out of the clubhouse. His reasoning is not because of police violence, but because of general gun violence. And in his statement, by the way, he took some, I think, fair, but some shots at the police. And it's met with oh, that's interesting. Maybe it'll fit into the end of some of these shows. Maybe we'll squeeze in 90 seconds for it at the end of it, or 30 seconds for it at the end of a newscast. If you ever needed more evidence that the reaction to Colin Kaepernick was not about respecting the flag, not about respecting the troops, not about patriotism, it was purely and always only about America's allergy to black folks protesting in any way, shape, or form, then I don't know what more evidence you could need. This is a perfect example. It's the same city. It's the same exact method of protest. I'm going to use the national anthem to show my disgust for a certain element of what's happening in this country. Are folks telling Gabe Kapler to move? Is this the lead story on all the shows? Is this going to be, are we going to discuss whether or not Kapler is going to be able to stay as a manager in baseball, maybe lose his job? Tony La Russa said a few things. It was mentioned a few times on the shows, and people moved on. Because it was never about the troops. It was never about the anthem. It was never about the military or patriotism or any of it. It was always about telling a rich black guy, shut up, you have it good enough. And the fact that Gabe Kapler is going to get to mostly skate on this, and by the way, I'm glad he does. There's nothing more American than nonviolent protest. And I totally just like I understood why Cap was using the anthem, because the anthem has been politicized and that whole pregame ritual's been politicized, to use it to make a statement. I get why Kapler's doing it. But the way Kapler and Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich and all these guys can say and do almost whatever they want with whatever criticism there is, it is brief and it is cursory. And Cap was, the reason NFL ratings were in the tank, allegedly. All of it. It was always a sham. It was always outrageous. And I'm glad that Gabe Kapler, A, has the courage to do what he's doing, but B, that it's being revealed as the sham that it was. Okay. That was a little intense.
That was great. That was great. Preach. Preach. I love that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Time now for a game. 2 wrongs, 1 right. Danielle, what's first?
Who's telling the truth? McDaniels, Mahomes, or Shanahan?
All right. So Josh McDaniels, he said Derek Carr didn't need a heads up about Colin Kaepernick getting a workout. Patrick Mahomes said the Kansas City wide receiver core is exactly what you want. And Kyle Shanahan said, I expect Jimmy G to be traded. I actually think they're all telling the truth. However, the one who is telling the most truth is Kyle Shanahan. Of course, Jimmy G is getting traded. There's no question about that he's getting traded. They wanted to move off it. They traded 3 first-round picks for a quarterback. The idea that it was up in the air if they were ever going to play the quarterback is just nonsense. So I absolutely believe Shanahan. I also believe Mahomes likes the wide receiver core. Clearly, there's an adjustment that has to be made with no Tyreek Hill, but I think the Chiefs are in a good position to do that. And I believe Josh McDaniels. Nobody thought they were bringing in Colin Kaepernick, who hasn't played in 5 years, to be the starter. The question wasn't, is he better than Derek Carr? The question was, can he be better than Jarrett Stidham? And by the way, they had a quarterback last year as a backup in Marcus Mariota, who was mobile. They had goal line and short yardage packages for him. That's what they would be using for. So I actually think all 3 of these guys are telling the truth. But the one who I know is telling the truth, Shanahan, he wants to trade Jimmy G. He just hasn't because he had that surgery. That, by the way, underrated story. Seems like the Niners were caught off guard by that surgery. Which is a little odd what happened there. All right, what's next, Danielle?
Who's right? Cuban, Haslam, or Worthy?
All right, so Mark Cuban said the play-in games are the cause of the playoff injuries, the condensed playoffs. Udonis Haslam says Draymond broke the code picking the Celtics. And James Worthy said all today's players do is lift, practice threes, get tats, and tweet. All right, I actually think they're all wrong. So the first one, they were all right. This one, I think they're all wrong. Mark Cuban, I understand that people didn't like the every other day conference finals, but we've been doing a schedule similar to that for some time. The answer is condense the first round a bit from where it was and have a little more time come the conference finals. But the playoff injuries, honestly, weren't that brutal this year. You had guys who get injured a lot at the end of the year, like Kyle Lowry showing up injured. Jimmy Butler, he's a guy that has shown the ability to be A triple plus, but also wear down and then bounce back. So I don't agree with Cuban. Udonis Haslam, Draymond is media member and NBA player right now. So maybe he partially broke the NBA player code, but he stayed with podcast host, TNT employee, media member code. And James Worthy just sounds like, I love big game James, but he sounds like such an old man yelling at a cloud. These kids with their hippity hop and their tattoos, like, stop it, James. Like, just stop it. And by the way, lift and practice seems like a good thing to do for basketball players. It says practice threes. I wish they were more fundamentally sound, like back in my day. These teams don't have where's the plastic man when you need him? All right, what's next?
Best bet for finals MVP, Tatum, Curry, or the field?
Listen, I think the Warriors are going to win, and I would be shocked if Steph doesn't win it. The fact of the matter is this. Durant deserved both the finals MVPs that he won with Golden State. But that first finals, LeBron should have been finals MVP. He was 36, 13, and 9. We all know that. But they won't give finals MVP to a guy on the losing team. If they weren't going to give it to LeBron, the fact that 11 people voted and 7 voted Iguodala, 4 voted LeBron, and no one voted Curry, I didn't believe it at the time. I still don't believe it. The NBA slapped my hand for saying on TV what I had heard happened, which was Iguodala and Curry voters were split, and they all ended up coalescing around Iguodala. But Steph Curry won league MVP that year, averaged more points per game in the finals than he did in the regular season. Nobody believes that. Go look it up. His numbers in the finals were better as far as points, rebounds, assists than they were in the regular season where he won regular season MVP. He didn't win league MVP, or he didn't win finals MVP. Instead, they gave it to Iguodala for his defense. Again, LeBron averaged 36, 13, and 9. So I say all that to say this. The voters owe Steph one. So if Steph is even close to MVP for this finals, if the Warriors win, he'll win it. All right, we're out of time, but we're going to do this last one anyway. Go ahead, Danielle.
Watch one, F1, The Match, or Top Gun 2.
All right. So F1 is European race car driving. I'm just curious because people have gotten super into it because there was a Netflix show.
Yeah.
How mad would you be if I told you once the NBA playoffs were over that I have a new thing that I'm super into and I have to start watching 4-hour race car races?
I would say that's stupid as
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
Try to watch the F-bombs.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So you wouldn't be
I wouldn't be a fan.
You wouldn't be a fan of that. The Match is Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers in golf versus Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. That's just Wednesday night. That I'll probably watch. But what I really want to discuss with you is Top Gun and Top Gun 2. Because I found out when we talked about this last week that the producers, most notably Gabe, but also Matt, because Matt looks like he went to the premiere with roughly 30 people because he posted it on social media. They are giant. Am I wrong about that? Or didn't you post that on social media? I think he did. I'm going to double check that. Give me a thumbs up if it's true, Matt. So he did. Okay, that's what I thought. They love Top Gun. They love it. Do you like the original Top Gun, Danielle? See,
I think I watched little pieces of it. Like, I think I watched it all when I was younger. And then as I got older, I watched like little parts of it. It sucks.
Okay. So here's the thing. You know I love Tom Cruise.
I love Tom Cruise too.
And I never understood the Top Gun thing. But here's what I said about... Now, Top Gun 2 is like 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, like 97% on audience score. The reason I said I didn't like Top Gun is Gabe and Matt notwithstanding, is the people who seem to love Top Gun seem to be people I don't like. Does that...
Yeah. I think that's what people do. You like, if somebody that you don't like something, like, I'm probably not.
Yeah, but that's my experience. And Gabe's mad. So here's the thing. Will you watch Top Gun 1 with me?
Oh.
Since we both haven't seen it in 25 years.
Okay.
And then we'll go see Top Gun 2 and we'll report back. Because I feel like we have to watch the first one in order to understand the second one. I know someone.
Oh, so you're telling me you want me back on the show?
But just for a Top Gun 2 review. DeMonte's over there choking. Just for a Top Gun 2 review.
Okay.
Okay? So we'll watch Top Gun together. Will you try not to fall asleep?
I'll try not to fall asleep.
We don't watch any shows together anymore. Because she just falls asleep 8 minutes in.
Because you start watching a TV show at 10, 11 o'clock at night after I've been up with you since 5:30.
Okay. You say all that, but if we start the show at 8 o'clock, you still fall asleep.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't. You're not around me at 8
Okay.
o'clock.
All right. We don't need to. All right. Now we're getting a little personal business in here. We don't need to do all that. The NBA playoffs are almost over.
Okay.
So we're going to watch Top Gun together. Then we're going to go to Top Gun 2 together, and you'll come back for a review.
Deal.
Deal? All right. We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back in. Final segment. What's Right with Nick Wright. Podcast and YouTube show, episode 23. Like, rate, subscribe, review, and please check out the ongoing countdown of the 50 greatest players of the last 50 years. This weekend, I knew it was going to be the most controversial because we got into the top 21. Chris Paul, 21. Luka Doncic, 20. What? What'd you about? What?
None.
You thought it was a bad take?
Very bad take.
Why is it a bad take? You guys can start the clock. Go ahead.
How could Chris Paul be behind Luka?
I mean, because I think Luka is better.
Okay. I don't even want to get into this. I'm not going to get into this.
You're not going to
Nah, because I don't win arguments with you. I don't feel like it right now.
Oh, you don't win arguments with me?
I don't feel like it right now when it comes to sports.
What about when it comes to things like whether or not I brought my computer to Philadelphia with us?
You didn't. Nick,
Yeah.
I packed that bag.
Uh-huh.
The computer was not in the bag.
It was at the bottom, and you also unpacked it, which is why
I didn't
it was
take
sitting,
no.
Which is why
no,
it was
because you never brought it downstairs.
Baby.
It said, I'm not, you're not, okay.
What? What?
You did not bring the computer.
What if I told you I used it when I got home Friday night, Saturday night, whatever night we were in the hotel room? What if I told you I know I used it?
No,
in
you
Philadelphia?
didn't.
Would that change your opinion?
No.
I watched Netflix on it in the hotel room when I got back and you and Nicole were sleeping. What if I told you that?
You're lying.
I am lying.
Exactly. You're lying. It was not.
I brought it.
No, you
All
didn't.
right. By the way, speaking of our trip to
We are going to talk about that again
No,
off
we're
of the
not.
show. Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
I have another show to do.
I don't care.
I've got to do a ranking
I'm
show.
with you every day. I'm getting you on that.
We just disagree about what happened.
Okay, next.
Can't we just
Next.
We can't just
Next.
disagree. All right. I want to talk to you about your decision to invite 3 children to this house to spend the night.
Uh-huh.
They are ages 9, 7, and 4. You decided to do it on a day when you were working. The moment you got home from work, you came home and went to sleep. And when you got up from going to sleep, you went out because your best friend's in from out of town. Shout out to Nicole. Till 4 in the morning.
The kids were asleep, right?
But the kids.
I didn't leave till 10. The kids were asleep.
And then.
I can do whatever I want when people are asleep.
Uh-huh. You had these kids come over on a night of a Game 7 of the NBA Finals when you're not going to be here. And
I was here, though.
And then, but you were either sleeping.
And they were asleep.
Okay. You as soon as you got home, you went to bed.
Okay. I was tired. I had to take a nap before I went out.
You had 3 straight nights of out till after 3 in the morning.
I don't have many friends in New York. So when my friend comes in town, we're about to live it up.
Party?
Party.
Okay.
Right. Sorry you missed out because it was awesome every single night.
Yeah, I was too sleepy, man.
Yeah.
I had to catch up on my rest. You also didn't really invite me last night. Like, let's be honest. You know.
No, because you were watching the game.
Yeah,
you
so
said you were.
You could have waited until the game was over.
Oh, I don't like this setup. We could have talked about anything else.
You don't like what setup?
Yeah, I don't know this block that we're in right now.
The C block?
The roast block. You just decided to roast me after I'm doing you guys a favor being here.
But we're doing you a favor too. This is a great advertisement for Trentage.
No.
You want to spend the last 30 seconds of the show talking about Trentage?
No, it's okay.
Tell people what it's about, where they can come see you. What to do?
Well, it's a women's boutique.
Uh-huh.
It is trendy and vintage. That's how I came up with the name Trentage.
Yeah.
It's in Harlem, 119th and Lenox. Address 182 Lenox Avenue. Catch me there Almost every day except for Monday and Tuesday.
Almost every day except for Monday and Tuesday, or a Saturday if you decide to go to Philadelphia, or a different Saturday if you're in Belize, or a different day if you're in Los Angeles. But otherwise, you catch her there. All right. Cool? Is there anything else you want to say?
You're a hater.
I'm not a hater. That'll be $1,500 though for that live read.
Well, I guess it's even because you owe me 2 G's for this show.
Oh, really? That's your rate?
Yeah.
$2,000 an hour for broadcasting?
$2,000 an episode.
An episode.
Yeah.
I don't think we can afford you. Looks like DeMonte's back in the seat because I'm trying to do the math on what DeMonte gets paid for this, and it's not quite $2,000 a month. So DeMonte's got his job back. Great job, Danielle. Love you, Dan Poop.
Love you too.
That is today's show. Hey, thanks for watching. Smash or just lightly tap that subscribe button. It all works the same. To get more from the show, and make sure you click. Why don't you want to mash the bell too, guys? Or just, lightly tap the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just hit the link in the description below.